Gimmick matches can be a mixed bag in professional wrestling. For every genius one like WWE's Royal Rumble, WCW's War Games, or a ladder match, we get a chamber of horrors, or whatever came to Vince Russo's mind when he was in TNA, and even late days WCW. So, fans have been wary when a new style of bout is brought up, especially given there's a few gimmick matches of the past just waiting to be reused. Now and then they can be brushed off like an Iron Man bout or such, yet a few others can be used more. Some are far too dangerous to be used nowadays, inferno matches and scaffold matches for example, and others may be too obscure, maybe cost too much money to set up, or a few other reasons. Yet there are a few notable, some seen as failures, but the concept was sound enough to work. Others are proven to be great gimmick bouts, and surprisingly they just haven't been used in such a long time. Welcome to Honor Wrestling Club, and in today's video we will be counting down 10 gimmick matches of the past that should be brought back for a fun way to shake up a feud and a pay-per-view card. However, before we crack on with the list, I'd just like to take a moment to welcome you to Honor Wrestling Club, and to let you know that if you enjoy what you see here today, don't forget to hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for more awesome content. For example, in the next video here at Honor Wrestling Club, we will be counting down 10 minor wrestling characters from the 1980s that everybody remembers. Welcome to the club. Now, without further ado, let's kick off the list with number 10, a flag match that works even without nation superiority, as you can do this for any kind of flag. Granted, objects on a pole matches can be iffy, just check out year 2000 in WCW for proof of this. Yet the flag match works on several levels. It's a simple idea, 2 flags in opposite corners and whoever grabs theirs first wins. Simple. That's a classic for battles of the patriotic hero against the evil foreign heel, like John Cena versus Rusev. Yet there are cases where it can work without the xenophobia. Have it be opposing teams with their logos there and spark it up with a chase for the flag. It doesn't have to be an epic blow-off, but a point of pride, with the winner showing off the flag to make it the rare pole match that works. In number 9, we have the hair match, which is an underrated match type, and it can make a feud and or wrestlers more entertaining. The hair match is a somewhat underappreciated gimmick match that people rarely talk about, but there have been several amazing hair versus hair matches in wrestling over the years. Most notably Vince McMahon, represented by Umaga, against Donald Trump, represented by Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania 23 in the Battle of the Problematic People. A few years earlier though, Kurt Angle went bald, the best look of his wrestling career, after losing a fantastic hair match to Edge at Judgment Day 2002, and Kurt even benefited from having some great character work by refusing to admit they'd been shaved bald and wearing a wrestling sort of helmet sort of thing with a wig underneath. It was fantastic. Their feud was incredibly entertaining, and the hair match was one of the many reasons why. In number 8 we have casket matches, and we're going to group these together with buried alive matches, as these don't just have to be for The Undertaker, and these bouts can make any feud wilder. The obvious issue with bringing back this match, or these match types should we say, is that they are so tied to the dead man's gimmick. It's hard to imagine someone else daring to take it on. But the idea of the only way to win a match being to lock a guy into a casket plays on some fears and makes for a fantastic visual. Having this be tied to burying a guy makes sense. Speaking of which, a buried alive match works the same way, and that can be more general. However, it's in a special spot by the ring or taken outside to a real graveyard. Burying a guy with dirt is an awesome sight, and you don't need the dead man to make either of these gimmick bouts work today. In number 7, we have loser becomes the winner's valet, which is a great way to give a heel some comeuppance. It's funny, a great stipulation like this hasn't been used in such a long time. The match itself can be any type of battle, with the stipulation that the loser has to be the winner's valet/servant for a day, a week, or even a month. The most famous example is Jimmy Garvin, forced to do a hard day of work at the Von Erich Ranch after losing such a match. It's an obvious way for the arrogant heel to get his comeuppance by being bossed around. There's also the potential for the face to lose and have to work for the bad guy for a bit. Either way, adding the humiliation of serving your opponent would make this match better. In number 6, we have a stretcher match, which can be a brutal affair, and these matches can be harsh. The bout is perfect for the caper for a wild feud. As the title implies, the goal is not to win by pinfall or submission, but rather by incapacitating your opponent, putting them onto a stretcher, and then carrying it past a certain line outside. This means epic brawling in an anything-goes manner, with guys hammering the hell out of each other. The last time WWE used it was in 2014 with John Cena and Kane. There could be inventive bits, like in 2003 when Brock Lesnar used a forklift to put the Big Show on the stretcher. It's meant to be used for a brutal fight, and the half joke of a guy already set for the hospital in defeat to cap off this war. In number 5, we have the Bunkhouse Brawl, which should be much more than just a Dusty Vanity project. A no-holds-barred battle royal is a great idea. Dusty Rhodes was accused of using this to boost himself, as he won almost all of them, including an infamously bad pay-per-view. Yet, like a lot of Dusty's ideas, there was incredibly sound concept behind it. In this case, it is a battle royal, where guys could come out in street clothes and use weapons. This would have been right up the alley of the chaps over in ECW. Yet today, it can be wild if guys come out in crazy costumes like armour. And the use of weapons adds to it. It could be for a special prize, or building up in a tournament like Dusty did. With WWE reviving so many of Dusty's ideas, bringing this back could be next. In number 4, we have the First Blood match, which is a fantastic concept, and this wild fight adds spark to a brawl. This may be tricky with WWE a bit more reluctant these days on bloodbaths, although maybe when they move over to Netflix we may get to see a bit more of the claret. Then again, that could always make this so much more compelling. It's an obvious stipulation. Whoever bleeds first loses. That can run the risk of softening a match with neither guy wanting to bleed by accident, but the thrill of wondering if a blow leads to an instant win is good. It's also prime for a unique finish, such as Starrcade 1986, where Tully Blanchard was busted open first, but the ref was down, so JJ Dillon cleaned it up and then gave Tully an object to get Dusty Rhodes bleeding and won. It's an open way for a heel to get over cheating to win and spark up a bout. In number 3, we have championship scrambles that deserve a second chance. Iron Survivor proves this forgotten WWE idea should be revived. It is surprising that neither WWE nor AEW have tried to replicate this match, as it is such a strong concept. Used at Unforgiven 2008, the idea was similar sort of to a Royal Rumble. Two guys, one often the champion, would start going at it one-on-one. 5 minutes later, another guy entered, with pinfalls or submissions being scored at any time. When the last entrant came in, one more 5-minute time would echo, and whomever the last pinfall or submission had been able to be scored by was the champion, and when the clock expired, they would be crowned champion. The initial bouts at the pay-per-view weren't particularly well done, which may be why WWE was reluctant to use it again, but the NXT Iron Survivor proves the concept can work, even if it threw in additional bits of multiple falls and a penalty box. That shows brushing off the original scramble concept for a simpler battle now, and then might be warranted to give this another chance. In number 2, we have a tuxedo match, which would be a very fun fight, as this wild match has a great style. An old favourite in the territory days, especially in Mid-South. It's a fun idea as two guys dress up in their best suits, doing their best James Bond impressions. However, rather than pinfall or submission, it's all about tearing the suit off the other guy until he's in his trunks. Some of these could be great, like the Hacksaw Jim Duggan vs Ted DiBiase battle, and they can work really well. Something about an arrogant heel who was flaunting his style being stripped like this was compelling. And that they were more open brawls than a wrestling match was good, and some guys could have fun making the tux layers so as to extend the match. Use it on the right pairing, and this concept can be just as sound for fans today. And in number 1, we have Battle Bowl, which could truly work today. The flop WCW concept could fly much better now. Battle Bowl may have failed in WCW, yet the concept was sound. 20 teams were chosen at random for some unique pairings in tag team matches. The remaining 20 guys were then put into a 2-ring battle royal, where you first toss someone into the next ring and then to the floor. The last 2 guys then fought it out in a regular match. The execution was sloppy, yet the idea itself can work for an episode of NXT or Dynamite. Don't make the random pairing so contrived, just a 1-ring battle royal, and this can be a fun way to determine a contendership or of the prize, and a rare time a WCW idea would work today. And there you have it, there's our list. So what do you think of the list? What old gimmick that you don't think is used enough today would you like to see brought back? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. However, I'd just like to thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this in the future. And remember, next time we'll be checking out 10 minor characters from the 1980s that everybody remembers. However, until next time, I'd just like to thank you for watching, and welcome to the club.